Warren Buffett has just come out and saying that Berkshire has sold all of its airline stocks, which is massive news because just earlier this month they had announced that they're trimming positions in Delta as well as Southwest. Now, the reasoning behind the selling is most likely due to what's going on right now and the fact that consumer sentiment has probably changed slightly when it comes to traveling, and people are less likely to travel right after everything kind of normalizes just because of the psychological effects that this whole situation is taking place. The second thing I want to talk about is how smart of a move this was on Berkshire Hathaway and then Warren Buffett himself. So as I said, they had reduced their position in these airline companies at the beginning of April, but what they did was actually reduce the position so it's under 10%. And now there's actually a rule that was established in 1934 called Section 16, where basically companies that own more than 10% of a company have to follow certain rules. So one of those rules is they have to disclose when they're selling a position. Now, for Berkshire Hathaway, because they lowered their position to under 10%, they did not have to fill out what is known as Form 5, which is a requirement for these companies or someone that owns more than 10% of a company, basically stating to the public within 2 days that you're starting to sell off your position. Now, if you have a company like Berkshire Hathaway, which owns a lot of shares, trying to offload all of these shares at once, that would drive the price down a ton. So by trimming the position down to under 10%, basically they didn't scare the market to sell off everything in Delta and Southwest. Instead, the market says, well, we don't really know why Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway is selling these shares, so hey, maybe he's just trimming his position, reducing his risk, when in reality, they were going to sell the whole thing. They just didn't want to make it public. So by doing that, they actually, could have saved billions of dollars because they were able to offload those shares without anyone truly knowing that Berkshire Hathaway was getting rid of all of their shares in the companies. So definitely something that's interesting. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Section 16 and how genius and how smart these companies are when it comes to making sure that they're offloading. And yes, this is going to be a loss for Berkshire Hathaway because they definitely bought into these companies at higher prices, but that was before the whole situation, so they obviously didn't know everything was going to happen like this. But they foresee these companies having issues in the short term and not being able to recover for a while, so they said, hey, I'm just going to sell everything. And honestly, that's something that you should learn from this is, hey, if there's a company that you invested for a certain reason and those assumptions change, you should be okay with selling that position because you're investing in a business and you're not investing in the ebbs and flows in the short term on the price. So for Berkshire Hathaway, when they initially made the investment, obviously the situation with the economy and everything going on was completely different. Now that everything that's going on is happening, people are less likely to travel, and I believe there will be a change in consumer behavior when it comes to flying. So overall, I think it's a smart move on Berkshire Hathaway and definitely smart for trimming the position lower than 10% and then offloading everything. Thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and if you did enjoy the video, please make sure to hit that like button and then subscribe for more finance content. Thanks guys, and have a great day.